Welcome back. Welcome back. This is Banking Bits and Bytes with Brendan, and this is part of our new Super-Duper series. Sorry. This time I'll just talk to the ladybug. Hello, ladybug. You're on Banking Bits and Bytes with Brendan. You're in for a special treat today, because this is part of our Super-Duper CEO series of what needs to be top of mind for community financial institution CEOs. And today, we're going to be joined by Tom Hinkle, the compliance guru. It's not every day you get to hear from Tom Hinkle, the compliance guru. We're going to hit the top 10 questions that community financial institution CEOs have been asking about compliance. Hey, Tom.
Hi, Brendan. Why have you called me here today?
Because I need to know something.
What is it?
I know all of our institution CEOs are wondering the same question. They're asking, what is our cybersecurity posture compared to our peers?
Right. We do get that a lot, particularly from boards. They like to compare themselves to others of their similar size and complexity, their peer group. No one wants to be significantly behind or significantly ahead of their peer group, and it's understandable. Behind your peer group means you're less secure, typically. Ahead of your peer group means you're spending resources that you probably shouldn't, right, on cybersecurity. So it's totally understandable. Unfortunately, it's almost impossible to do a peer-to-peer-to-peer comparison because there are too many variables among financial institutions. I'll explain. So when we implement information security for folks or business continuity for folks, we don't start with a blank template and say, let's fill in the blanks. We start with a process called an enterprise model. And an enterprise model is where we identify the departments, the processes, and the functions that make up each individual financial institution. So you could have two institutions that look identical to each other. They could be in the same geographic area. They could have the same demographic customer base, right? Same size and complexity. And you model them out, departments, processes, and functions, and they look completely different. So, number one, their posture might be completely different than another. Risk appetite also factors in here to a considerable extent. And again, two institutions in all outward appearance equivalent. One has decided to take a more aggressive posture towards electronic banking products, electronic offering of products. Another has decided to take a more conservative approach to that. You can't really compare those two. So for us to say, well, we'll have to say, well, here are banks that are, or institutions that are approximately the same size, approximately the same complexity, approximately the same enterprise model structure, internal structure, and approximately the same approach towards electronic banking and all the other products. If we can boil it down to that, then a comparison might be useful. But basically what we say is, because that's almost impossible, we'd love to provide a peer-to-peer example of where you stand with regard to your peer group, but frankly, you're peerless. No, we say, but frankly, it's impossible for us to do that because there are too many variables in what you do. You may look similar to this other institution, but when it comes down to your cybersecurity risk appetite and all the other measures that make up a where are we kind of analysis, you look completely different from your peer group. So typically what we'll do is we'll say, let's allow the information to stand on its own. Let's see, where are you based on where you need to be, not where a peer might need to be. So here are your risks, here are your controls, here are your areas of elevated risk, here are the best control groups to apply against those areas of elevated risk, and here's an action plan that we can put in place to help us get from where we are to where we need to be, so that next year when we go through this process again, we can show steady progress. We try to take their focus away from how do we look according to our peers to how do we look compared to how we should look, if that makes sense.
What advice would you give to anybody watching who's thinking, Tom, I want to be just like you when I grow up?
Please aim higher.
Jag är det och de här kommer runt 3 personer som tar över.